I love the queer community because we've been told that pretty much anything that we do with our bodies is wrong. And so it's like all bets are off. We're going to talk about all that shit. I see my work for the trans community, for Black folks, for queer folks, as a mirror of possibility. For Black trans women, we don't have the luxury to not understand our bodies because society kind of demands that of us, just so we can access the things that we need. PrEP for me has been a lifeline. It's been a way to feel more in control of my sexual health and less at the whim of the repressed conversations we have. I would say that there still can be a bit of stigma around HIV prevention. If you're living with HIV and AIDS, or if you're fearful, PrEP is a tool for us to connect with each other. We all just need to have more grace for nuanced conversations around our bodies and around sex. There are so many ways you can take it. The pills, which I indulge in, and the injectables. What I appreciate about navigating healthcare here in New York is that I've just found stronger community-based options. I'm a Callan Lord girly, and it's just great to go to a healthcare provider that knows the ins and outs of the queer and trans experience. There are more and more options for folks, whether you have insurance or not. I don't want anyone to think that that is a deterrent. I want folks to feel less fearful about naming their concerns or desires around their sexual experiences and health. Whatever we can do to feel less unsure or afraid of the next person, I think we need to invest in it. What I learned about sex growing up mostly came from TV and, God forbid, the early internet, where there were basically no guardrails. My dad didn't have the talk with me until I think I was like a sophomore in high school. His version of the talk was fucking irrelevant to me as a budding queer something who would later realize she was trans. I had a lot of questions about my relationship with my body, how I wanted my body to relate to the next person, and I didn't really have outlets for that. I was lucky enough when I got to college that I met other trans people, and so we were able to, in some ways, like compare notes and commiserate around just, I think, the confusion a lot of us were navigating. We all inherit these expectations from family, from society, from culture, from the media, and oftentimes they don't leave enough space for us to just experience the messiness of making a life on your own terms. When I came out to my brother as queer, his immediate response was like, I don't want to hear about you dying from AIDS in a hospital 10 years from now. I do think being of a certain age and having lived through kind of the immediate aftermath of that initial AIDS crisis makes you think a little bit differently about what's at your disposal now. And PrEP is one of those things. It took a mental shift to kind of understand, okay, we're at this point now where, oh, we can take a medication that supports in prevention. That felt revolutionary. And I think about the generation of folks that we lost who didn't have access to something like PrEP. There's something beautiful about embracing it in a way to respect them while we're also respecting ourselves. The biggest myth for me is just that only certain people should take PrEP. Everyone should be thinking about sexual health care and prevention. Oh, hey, friends.
Hey.
What is it like having that conversation about prevention? Is it awkward? Is it clunky? Because I feel like it still is surprisingly awkward and clunky sometimes.
Yeah. Objectively, it's like awkward, you know, it's like, and I'm gonna stop what's happening in the heat of the moment often to be like, and let's have a conversation about this.
It's like the PSA moment.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it's better in that moment than the things that you do in your head if you haven't had that conversation.
You being honest also setting an example for that person, because maybe they haven't had a person who cares about their health in that way. When you're with someone who's like, oh no, we could talk about this, like this is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. You're opening your world to like possibilities.
Being able to talk about sex and like your body with your friends can be good practice. Yeah. And I don't mind being that friend that's like, okay, I'm glad y'all hooked up. And, you know, we have to continue to fight to have freer conversations about our bodies, what we're experiencing. Sexual liberation means being unapologetic and fearless. PrEP gives me the power to live out my desires on my own terms. Affirming inclusive care looks like being educated about what options are at your disposal. You know, I think also as a trans woman, some of us do want children, right? Like I would love to have children. And I also can't have biological children, but I have no regrets about any part of my transition. So it's important for me to champion expansive conversations on bodily autonomy. There's just been a number of young trans people in particular that have died by suicide over the years. I think of Leela Alcorn, I think of Blake Brockington, just all of these kids who deserve to inherit a better world. And even though we can't get them back, I hope that we can make the soil richer for the next generations to come. For us at Gender Liberation Movement, we don't feel like the protests and the radical defiance has to be at odds with joy. I'm inspired to do the work that I do. So many of the things that we're starting to be able to talk about openly were innovated in the queer and trans community. It's so funny to be in my mid-30s and have people think of me as this seasoned activist, to have trans people look up to me. I honestly feel like I'm just getting started.